Facebook, we're waiting, as always. Facebook must feel like a little deprived because they, they're like, oh, why do we have to wait? But we don't always wait for YouTube. Yeah. All right, we're live. We're live. All right. Okay, so we're live on all platforms. That sound more professional to say it that way? So if you guys didn't know, we, hold on, those mustaches? Okay, cool. All right, awesome. That's pretty cool. There's a mustache sweater. Anyways, we go live on Facebook and YouTube when we do this usually. So if you guys can't come in because maybe it's cold outside, like it is today. I was gonna get a cup of coffee, but it was a frozen ice cube by the time I got here, right? It's so cold out in New York. But if you're on a date, you're at a wedding, what other reason would they have not to be here? They're on vacation. You can watch these live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're already watching it there, then you obviously know that. But we'd much rather have you here in the store. So this is my last event for the year. So thanks guys for coming. Thanks for everybody for watching. It's really good. We get a lot of interaction. We really have a lot of fun with you guys. And I call this one Sculpting Light because it sounded cool. And I was like, I need a cool name for a demo because I haven't done anything cool in a while. So it sounds pretty cool. But what I really want to talk about is the idea that I noticed that a lot of us, when we see light, we're looking for this cool light, we're looking around, but then when a lot of us light, we light flat and boring. Maybe because especially when we're new, right? Because maybe we're nervous about using shadow, everything has to be, and then on top of that, people then retouch it even more flat, So it's like, in the end, you create these pictures that are very flat and that don't have a lot of dimension, whereas if you had gone to art school like me, right? So if you're a painter, right, when you look at paintings, they create three-dimensional images on a flat surface by using highlight, midtone, and shadow. Everything's not midtone. They use all three, right? You need those bright highlights. You need that dark shadow. That's what makes things dimensional. So we're going to talk about doing that a little bit today, and we're going to make some pictures. So I have Marissa, and she has a beautiful sweater for the holiday. Seth on the Mighty Mix. And let's do it. For the person who asked on YouTube, I finally got a controller, so I don't have to put the thing on. I was product shamed. They're like, how come you don't use a controller? Now I have one. So, okay. What am I getting? Softbox. All right. So I'm going to mostly use the Beauty Dish, I think, because Marissa is beautiful. Beautiful, exactly. But we use a Softbox as well because Shamira gives me a nickel every time I put this thing together. And I need a nickel. So one thing that you can know for sure when you're lighting something or dealing with light is that if you understand the basic properties of light, you'll be able to kind of create the image that you want to create. And that's really what we're down to. A lot of times people will say to me, hey, can I do this with this? Or what should I get for this? And what it comes down to is if you understand what things do, what modifiers do to your lights, then you'll be able to make that choice without having ever used that piece of gear. And that's why I brought two different things. So this is going to be a softbox. If people don't know, softbox is soft, right? Why is it soft? Because it's in the name, right? No, so because what makes something soft or hard is its size. So generally speaking, if you're making a portrait with this, right? This is as big or bigger than Marissa's head, right? So it's going to generally be soft, right? In addition to that, what a softbox basically is a bunch of diffusion, right? Your light's going to hit this thing, it's going to be diffused. It's going to spread the light out and make it very diffused. So it's going to be soft, it's going to be diffused, right? I also have a Beauty Dish. This is a silver Beauty Dish. And this is now also relatively soft, right? Because of its size. I'm only using it for a headshot. But not as soft as a softbox. But this is silver, right? There's no diffusion going on here. This is going to be specular. We're going to get poppy highlights, right? This is going to be a punchier light. And since we're talking about sculpting, we're probably going to use this, right? But does that mean that you can't sculpt or do like a flat light with the Beauty Dish? No, of course you can, and we'll do that to start with. Oh, I have Marissa's Christmas pictures up. Let's get rid of this. I was testing something. This is all bounced light, by the way, here, guys, in this shot. Maybe you'll see that someday in a video that we shot today. Okay, there's my email, if everybody wants to see. There's my text to Seth. Okay, I have a bunch of stuff open clearly. I've done this a few times before, I swear. All right. Here we go. What's that? Okay. I just downloaded Capture 120 because, by the way, if you have Capture 112 and you use a Mac, don't let it update the software. Because if you update to whatever the new one is, you can't tether anymore. And when I was getting a cup of coffee, my Mac updated on me. So I had to go to Capture 120, which is pretty nice. I guess they're working on it, but if you have Capture 112, make sure you don't update your Mac for now. All right, here we go. Is that going to open up 20? Do you want to upgrade? Yes, I do. Also, 20, by the way, is just like all Capture One stuff, you get the 30-day free trial, which is what I did. So if you do happen to do it by mistake, like I just did, you're not stuck. All right, here we go. Where's my tethering cable? Here it is. What is my metering mode? I don't know. I think we'll use a Matrix. That was a good series of movies. All right, here we are. We're all tethered in. Oh, very confused today. This is my first time. Let's turn this on. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to start off with the flat light. So we'll kind of show you what it is. I'll use a beauty dish because it's set up. So when we're looking at, do you want to sit?
Oh, I don't mind.
Are you going to stay in one spot if you stand?
Yes.
Okay. You can come in. This is Marissa. Okay. She can stand and sit. All right, good. Doesn't take much to get everything. Okay. So we're going to shoot a portrait of Marissa. So typically, we're going to take our light. Let's say that we got the photo book, you know, that photo book that they made in 1975, and they're like, how to shoot portraits. So we want to take our light. We're going to put it here. Always put the light the opposite side of the audience and towards the subject. Come on, that joke never gets old. Oh, I always take the wrong C-stand. There we go. So somebody asked about metering. I think I will use TTL today, because why not? So this is the ProPhoto D2. It's in channel 3, group C. Oh, thank you. Something's going on with my camera. We'll find out in a second. Cool. I'm on manual focus. Okay. I am. There we go. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, as always when we use Flash, because Flash is all about control, I'm going to eliminate the ambient light in the space. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to set my camera so that it basically underexposes the space. The simplest way to do that is to just kind of point the camera at your subject. If you got a camera like this one, which is a Nikon, mirrorless, I'm just looking through here, and I'm just going to wait till Marissa disappears, which is, you know, about right there. I'm at f8. I'm at 1/200th of a second. I'm at ISO 100. I cannot see her. So when I take a photo, right, I get a black frame. That's the easiest way to do that. If you have a mirrorless camera, if you don't, then you can use live view on a regular camera, or just look at the meter in your camera when we're setting at your meter. All right, so we're set up there. Let's see, I'm going to grab my exposure slider in Capture One and make sure that I'm underexposed enough. Yeah, it looks like about 2 stops-ish. That's plenty. All right, now let's get to this. I've got my light. I got my Marissa. I turned on my remote. I'm in TTL. I'm in matrix metering. My autofocus is working. Take a picture. We get a proper exposure, right? So now, a lot of times, oh, that's a good one. A lot of times, what I'll do, right, I'll be standing up here and I'll be like, hey, I'm Daniel. That's what I say when I start, right? And I'll go like this, take a step forward. Good. And I'll be like, here's Marissa. I'll do everything I just did, so pretend I just did that again. All right, I'll go like this. Right? Right, and it'll be dark, right? And you guys will be like, oh, Daniel, that's dark. And then, that's what they say. And then they'll be like, you know what you need? What do we need? A reflector, right. I can only blame myself, because I'll then take the reflector and go like this. Right? And I'll do that for you, right? And you'll all be like, oh yeah, that's good. It's flat, right? It's boring. We do it every time. That's just to show you how light works. The thing is that, yeah, if I had no choice and my light was right there, then that's one way to kind of fix it, right? But flat light isn't necessarily better. It's just that here, the light that I'm putting on her just isn't good for the way that she's standing in the shot I'm trying to make. It's not that a shadowy light is not good. So let's look at the shadowy light and let's make a better shot. How about that? Why isn't it good? Because we're losing detail in her eye, right? We got shadow going across her face. It's also a little bit underexposed. It's a little hot on her forehead, right? It's not even across her face. We can fix that by having her look at the light. Boom, she's looking at the light now, right? She's like, I'm looking at the light. And I can move the light so it's more centered. I can look at the fact that her head's gonna be, you're gonna be looking at the light, right? That her head's like this. I'm gonna make sure the light's at the same angle, right? I'm gonna raise it slightly. Right, now this should be generally nicer, right? I don't have to use the reflector. You're not gonna believe me, so I'll take another one. Let's try this. This should be a little nicer. Whoop, a little too close there. All right, here we go. Boom, right?
Spin that backlight so it's not looking like it's lighting her.
Okay. I'm gonna move this backlight so it doesn't confuse people. I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna take it down. We'll deal with it in a minute. Right? And now the light's in a nicer place, right? We actually have a shot that's actually kind of nice. And sometimes I do this shot and you guys are like, Daniel, that's nice. Well, there you go. It's the same light, right? The difference is I moved her in relative position to it. I'm using the light to create some shadow. It could be better, right? It can always be better, right, Marissa?
Yes.
I'm gonna move this chair because it feels like it's in my way. Let's put it over here. Half my life is moving chairs around. So we want to look at her face, right? I can see right now that we're getting a little bit of this like cheek here, but it's kind of making her face like have some dark shadow. It's not the most pleasing shadow. I want to emphasize that shadow, make it a little bit richer. What is flat light? Flat light is flat light. Lack of shadows. Okay. Let's emphasize that shadow. How do we emphasize the shadow? We can move our light or our subject. In this case, I'll move the light because I took all that time to move that stuff. Right? Actually, to make it easier for you guys, I'm going to put the modeling light on. I think. Yeah, there we go. Right? We can take our light. I can move it, right? You can probably see this. I can move the light to change the shadow pattern on her, right? Okay. So if I move the light, I can change the shadow pattern on her face. I can do it by moving it forward and back. I can also turn the light slightly. I can move it closer or further away, right? That's going to affect how the shadow comes down on her. So let's create a little more shadow. Let's do it. We're doing it. Marissa's like, I want shadow. Right? Now we can create shadow and depth, right? It's even more, right? Maybe it's, let's have you put your nose up a little more. Yeah. Good, good, good. Here we go. Boom, right?
Do you need your softer light? Because it's going to give reflection on your forehead.
Do we need a softer light? You mean more diffused?
Yes, like this one, because you can see the reflection on her cheek.
Right, you can see reflection on her forehead. Oh my God, there's a reflection on her forehead. Yeah, that's how people are, right? That's how life is, right? That's skin, that's what skin looks like. You're also looking at a terrible screen, right, compared to what I am, right? So there's skin, there's pores, there's texture. That's what people look like, right? If you remove that completely, you end up with light that's completely flat. And then you lose your dimension. The way you would get rid of that is not using a softer light. You would use a light that is more diffuse. In other words, diffusion in front of the light. But we're not going to do that yet. I got to fill a whole hour here. Yeah, I'm creating a little bit of a harder light, one that's a little bit more, got a little more flavor, a little bit more juice to it. What you can't do with this is like throw a reflector in, right? We could still throw a reflector in, but all that would do is fill the shadow. We don't want to do that. If we didn't like the way the forehead was bright, Hey, Fernando. We would add diffusion.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. All right, what do you think? This is a silver beauty dish. The other option would be to use a white beauty dish. White beauty dish would be less specular, right? It kind of comes down to you got to remember that your highlights are controlled by the specularity, so things like silver or the lack of diffusion. Your shadows are controlled by hard and soft. So just having a softer light wouldn't necessarily fix that. It wouldn't fix it at all. All right, let's move it back even further. Let's create a little more depth. Not you.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. What if we were to do Rembrandt lighting? We're not going to. Come up like this. Okay, good. What you can do oftentimes when you get a new type of modifier or you have a subject in front of you is have them move around within the light. See where it looks good for you, right? See where you're getting the different shape and form, right? So that's her looking right at it. We can still have her look towards us a bit and really think about how that light's going to come across, right? I'm still in TTL here. I might actually switch to manual because the more you start to backlight stuff, the more your exposure starts to drift. Right? And now we're looking at angles, so it's a little bit less reflection up here. It's brighter though, right? But we don't have that shininess right now, but that's because of the angle of reflection, right? So I just adjust my TTL exposure. Let's see, I'm gonna take it down, half a stop. Let's do that same thing. Right? Because you gotta remember the angle of your reflection is what's gonna be important. Yeah, it's gonna be brighter at the top of her head because the top of her head is where the light is. We could lower the light, but now we're not getting that shine that we were getting before. But I have the same light source, right? It's the same light. Ooh. I always do that. Right? Same light, pretty much the same distance, right? You see the difference, how I smoothed out the skin there? I smoothed out that highlight. That's because when light reflects, it reflects at certain angles, right? It's the same thing that people ask a lot about as far as like getting reflections out of glasses. It's just a matter of angling the light and the subject to get rid of it. So if you don't like the shininess of the skin, but you love that pattern of light, you could diffuse it, right? If you don't care, you're just trying to make a good picture, you could just slightly turn the subject, and that would also take care of it. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah, you're welcome. So right now I have the light slightly above because generally speaking that's how life is and the way that I like to light, but if you wanted it more even on her face, we could also just lower the light too. So you'll still look this way slightly. Oh, come on. I just like to do this to watch your head move around, it's fun. It's like a joystick. Right, and again, we can bring the light up and down. We can spin it around. We can do all kinds of stuff, right? I can make it low to make it more even, and that's just basically the position of the light. That make sense? And again, it's more flush, right? I didn't have to go in Photoshop and smooth out the highlights. I just changed the angle of the light. That's all you got to do. Angles are important. All right. That's not a repeat. Angles are important. That's not a good slogan. We got to work on that. All right. Excuse me. Okay, making sense so far though? We're trying to create some shape. We're trying to create some depth with this. We don't want to flatten. Again, we'll go back to flat. So I know you guys like this. Marissa likes this. She'll send this as her Christmas card. Right, there it is flat, right? And again, there's nothing bad about that, but it starts to create the same image everybody's created, this flat image, right? Where you can have, depth and texture in your shadows. You don't have to be afraid of that. Just make sure you expose properly. Sometimes things can be in the shadow. Shadow is shadow. That's how, life has shadow. Life has shadow. No, still not good. I need one good one for the end of the year. No? We'll find it. All right. I'm working on it. No. Okay. I know you are. All right. Give me some feedback. All right. So the other thing we can do if we want to, this is pretty tightly controlled. If we want to control the shape like this, but we want her to look at us, then we'll do the thing that I almost always say that I do, which is when I'm shooting, especially female subjects, I like to put the light in the center. If I want her looking at me, right, and not kind of like in this 1980s like high school, picture, we're gonna have to put the light. We're gonna have to swing the light up over her. We'll do that like this, using the sandbag. This is the heaviest sandbag in the world. It's the Adorama 87-pound sandbag. Is this? I think it's a 35er, I think. All right. So we're going to put our light in the center. The way that we do this, I'm using the C stand, as always. There we go. That's how I get my exercise. We do this without any kind of wires or anything, guys. This is the real deal. All right, so I'm going to stretch it out over the top of her, left-handed at that. So whenever you're using a C-stand with an arm, make sure the arm goes out over, this is true of all stands, make sure the arm goes out over the long leg and the sandbag goes on that leg. Don't put the sandbag on the other side. I know that's what they tell you to do, but don't do that. You can say, Daniel told me. All right, so now we're going to do a central light, and I'm going to kind of walk through the same thing. We're going to start off a little flatter, and then we're going to add a little shape. The way that we flatten the light when it's in front of her is we're going to do it by angle, right? Height and angle of the light is going to change the shadow pattern under her nose. All of this is, but yeah, butterfly. I almost forgot the name of it. All of this is going to be butterfly lighting, as they say, because Marissa's like a butterfly. So I have a lot of white butterflies here in my house.
Moths?
No, they're not moths. Moths aren't white.
Yep.
So, no, moths are more like a tannish color. Yeah, in the summer I get tons of the white ones. Everybody right now back at the online is Googling to see if I'm making that up, but yeah, a lot of butterflies are white.
They're writing, we don't care.
They don't care? Well, that's a sad life to be when you don't care about butterflies. So I'm going to switch back to TTL. Tough crowd today. All right, let's go like this. So we're going to start off relatively flat. Go up on my toes. Good. Oh, I think I got you in a blank. Right? Even that's not that flat. All right, so we've got, let's tilt this down slightly because your chin's up.
Oh, do you want me to?
Yeah, chin down is good. Yeah. So you want to match the angle of her face to the light as much as possible. That's going to work for you. Better. Good, good, good.
Saying they're cabbage moths.
No, they're not. They're not cabbage moths. They're butterflies. Let me have my life.
Those aren't rats, those are puppies.
All right, so now we can see that if we look under her nose, right, you get that little bit of a shadow. It's because of this angle, the shadow is very shallow. If we start to raise this light, we can do it a couple different ways. We could raise the light. We could also have her step closer to it. Both of those two things will affect the light. Yes, step closer first. So that'll flatten the nose straight there. So let's look a little closer. I'm in TTL right now. So her walking closer should be fine. This is gonna, if you have her walk closer, the main problem here is that top of her head's gonna be brighter than the bottom, more so the closer she gets to the light. But we can see we have a denser shadow, right? I kind of cropped a little bit that way. That's why I chop off the top of the heads, by the way, guys, because you get the hot spot. Now we have this nice, beautiful light that's creating shape. If we were to do the thing that we do, I'm being anti-Brooklyn Reflector today, but that's okay. We'll bring it back. This is not bad, right? This is going to look good. It's fine. Everybody's happy there. Are you really, though? Is that really better? Is it?
You keep trying to sell them on your style, but they don't like your shots.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm trying to open up people's minds to
No,
the.
dude, it's so much cooler this way.
Yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll raise the light to create deeper shadows. So. I got it. I just have the camera over my shoulders. I don't want to drop it. I dropped the camera the last time we were here. Though it was fine. There we go. No, keep your face down because I want to show what the shadows do. So we'll see how this is going to stretch the shadows a bit. The thing I'm in TTL, so it's going to adjust automatically. See the shadow's getting denser, the shadow's getting longer, right? If you start pushing this too much, it starts to become, less and less appealing. What, appealing is not the word? Do one more like that so we can see the difference. Eventually what you're going to end up with is shadow that's going to really start to get under her eyes, right? And this is too much, right? So there's definitely this limit of like where things are going to, there. Why am I? Yeah, there we go. Okay, control. Right? So yeah, shadow is good. Shadow that's overwhelming is bad, right? We need to think about that when we're shaping the face. We don't want, this really harsh, not for a nice beauty shot, right? And even if we were to fill this in, it's not gonna look really as nice as the lower. Let's come in and fill it. Now, good. Right? Even that's not gonna really pick it up as well, right? It's better, right? It's a little filled in, but this is really what we want. So when we're doing a shot that's going to shape the face with the shadow, we need to think about where our shadow falls, right? It's not just about throwing a shadow on the face randomly. It's about putting the shadows where it's going to actually add depth to the face, but still give us this kind of like appealing portrait. That make sense so far? Questions? Easy? All right, so the other thing we can do, which we do a lot, is we can put the grid on the beauty dish. What this is going to do is going to help add contrast. And it's going to obviously narrow the beam of light, which is the most common reason why we use it. Plus, it's just cool. So what a grid does, there we go. So we got our grid, right? And you can see when we look through it, you can see you can see the angle gets cut back. That's all that does. It's reducing it down to 25 degrees. I don't have that memorized. It says right on it. Okay. This grid has been through a lot. This beauty dish has been through a lot.
You all right?
Oh, I got it, yeah.
Sure?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'm on it under control. All right, there we go. This beauty dish it's been through a lot. All right. Okay, so come down a little bit. So this now is my spread of light. So if I don't tilt it down a little bit more now, I'm going to just light the top of her head. So I'm going to tilt it down a bit. But what this also means is now my angles are going to slightly change. So if you kind of look at where these kind of things are pointed, right? We're basically coming down at her. I'm very close to it. They say, right, because you don't use the flash on your camera, right? That's like the thing you're not supposed to do, even though right now I'm putting the light literally right above the camera. But the thing is, the angle is important and also the size of your light. All right, so let's try this. And again, we're in TTL, so it should just automatically compensate, right? Now we've got a bit more even with the angle. It's clean, right? And we have drop off. And also, if you notice, compared to this, well, that's the filled in one, but let's get rid of that one. Get rid of that. Boop. 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 Right? See the difference in the facial shape, right? Now we're starting to get the grid is narrowing the light, which means we're not getting as much light on the side of her face. That means that her whole face is getting longer, right? As well as the fact that I step back a little bit, but you can see how the light is shaping the face slightly different. So that's basically what the grid is helping us do. It's adding that contrast here, right? So we can have that added contrast. It's not just about putting the light, in a smaller spot, which is, I think a lot of people throw grids on because they just don't want their light to fly everywhere. But the grid does add contrast. So adding contrast is a benefit, or if you don't want contrast, a problem with a grid, right? I like contrast, so we're going to leave the grid. Let's build with the grid. So now we've created that, and that's kind of cool. And we're like, oh, look, a one light shot. But again, we're flattening out our subject a bit, right? She's falling into the background because now our background's gone dark. So let's put some light behind her to kind of bring it up. You could light the background. It's one way of doing it. But I think if we start blasting the background with light to create, like, let's say, a white background, that has a totally different feel. I think you've got this somewhat moody light on her with some shadow. To have a white background just doesn't feel like it would really work for me. So I'm going to give her more like a halo or a hair light or a separation light or a kicker light. One of those things. A kicker, we'll call it a kicker light. For that, we're going to use the Zipro Photo B1X. This one's an A. Okay. Cool. All right. So here we'll throw the softbox on there. You could use direct flash as a separation light, but I typically like my separation lights to be softer and more diffuse because the hair is going to basically reflect, the oils on the hair are going to reflect your light source, right? That's what highlights are. They're basically a reflection of the light source. So I kind of want my light source to be a little more diffuse. It helps make the hair look a little even more even. What size beauty dish was it? 22 inches. Yeah, there are other sizes, but I don't know. Mola makes a lot of different size beauty dishes. I think Ellen Crumb used to have a 27. All right, so. Very good. So I'm kind of just, I want this to just like teaser a little bit on the side. I am probably going to get some light kicking back on the background through here, but we'll find out in a second. So we can see how that kind of lights up. It's going to basically penetrate her hair a bit. Let's just see what that looks like by itself. So what I did was, I'm going to switch to manual here. I'm going to turn off my main light and turn on that background light. And I just put it in the middle setting, the 5 setting. Just want to see where the exposure is going to be. Okay, it's also coming across her a little bit. So I think I'm actually going to, I'm going to have you step forward a smidge. We're a little tight. Move the whole set forward slightly so we don't have to, no sense in come forward. There we go. Too much. There you go. Yeah. Do I do ratios? Sure. I mean, I'll do ratios. Yeah, I mean, no, not really. I try to set the lights so that they're the same when I start, and then I'll adjust based on my subject. So I want it to be properly exposed. So what the power is. So, all right, well, I'll talk about ratios for a second. Sidetrack me a little bit. So there's a couple different ways to do ratios. There's the ratio of the exposure, and then there's the ratio of the power, right? So generally, I'm going to try to set my lights so that they're the same exposure, not the power. So I might be like, oh, this light is set, at full power, let's say half power. So I'm going to always put this one at half power. That's 1-to-1 in that sense, right? But this at half power is not the same as this at half power exposure-wise, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so that this light is on exposure with my main light. So 1-to-1, I guess, is how you would if you want to look at it like that. That's where I'm going to start anyways. I feel like when you start doing these ratios that are more arbitrary, like, oh, well, my portraits are this. Everybody's a little different, Just the reflectance of her skin, even 2 different days. Like, I photographed Marissa at least twice, right? She's not always the same exposure, I mean, she changes. So you have to kind of think about that, because exposure, the amount of light falling on somebody is going to be a constant, right? But how you decide to set your camera and expose it is the variable, right? So I might always read f8 on the light on her to start, but then I might adjust the light slightly based on how reflective her skin is and what I want it to look like in the contrast. So, but I usually make the background light equal to the foreground light. That was the long answer to that. All right, so now it's more just on her hair. You get a little bit on her nose, but I can live with that. Okay, I'm not using a meter today for some reason, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to actually bring this up 1 stop. Yeah, let's meter it. Let's meter it so we can do ratios, because we love ratios. Math is always fun. All right. Let's see. This is a Sekonic 308 SU. I am in non-corded flash mode. Okay. All right. So this is only reading 2.8.5. This is reading 5.62, right? So it's like a stop-ish, right? Stop at 2 stops almost. It's about 2 stops different. So that's 1 to 4, right? Will that be right? 2.468. But everything's going to change because I realized that I moved the light without doing another TTL exposure. So let me just.
How does that work if both lights are on PTL?
All right, so if both lights are on TTL, what you're going to want to do is shoot the first frame. This is the way I do it at 0, you know, and let it then look at it and adjust. Typically, you're going to turn your backlight down because things coming at the camera are always going to seem brighter. So, I mean, if I was just going to try to come out of the box, let's just do it. Let's just do it, right? Let's put Daniel on the spot. All right, I'm in TTL now. My front light, I want to expose at minus 0.1 because that's where I'm at. That's where I've been shooting because Marissa is always minus 0.1. Don't ask me why. My backlight, I want it to be about the same, but I know it's going to feel brighter when it comes to the camera. So I'm just going to grab channel or group A and I'm going to turn it down a stop. So now I'm set 1 stop below, and let's see what it does. Let's all see it together. Marissa already has her Christmas card picture, so she's already happy. Right? It's actually a little dark, right? Now you might say for a second, you might be like, Daniel, that light's not doing anything. But look at the other side of her head. Sure it is, right? It's just not blasting. Let's blast it. Let's go back to 0. Now it's brighter, right? Which one's right? Whichever one you like. Maybe neither one. Maybe you don't like either one. Or maybe you want it to be brighter. Let's make it, I think it goes, what does it do? It can do +2. Oh my God, +2? Unheard of. Except in certain parts of Argentina. There we go. That is what I call the only hair light I wouldn't use because that's terrible, right? The thing with the hair light is that unless it's creating some other kind of mood, like you're in a location where there's some kind of light influencing it, you never want your hair light to just be this thing blasting at the side of their head, right? You want it to be just a subtle separation. So I kind of liked it on equal terms with the main light. Let's go back to that. And there we go, right? Once I'm there, I'm good. I can adjust it any way I want. Nice and simple. It just gives her a little bit more three-dimensionality. I could put it so that it hits both sides of her, you know. Let's try something like this. This can get us in trouble. This got us in trouble during the last one. Am I getting myself in trouble? I'm getting myself in trouble. All right, nobody look to see I don't have another sandbag. Whatever you do, don't step backwards. We can bring this up like this. Let's try this. Never do this, so why not do it live in front of a studio audience? Recorded live. There we go. Tell me when this feels right on you. So it's always important to get input from the model. What does that feel like? Does that feel good?
That feels, yeah.
That feels pretty good. Marissa's happy. Do you think it's in the shot? Probably a little bit, right? Yeah, let's bring it up a little bit more. The question is whether or not it's hitting our nose. We're going to find out in a second. That feels fine. All right, we're still in TTL. Now you've got the light kind of giving it that glow on the top of her head. She's going to have a glow head. But guess what, guys? You can't see the top of her head, can you? Right? So now we have those wisps. A little different style, right? Let me actually move this more in the center. This is very precise work here. All of a sudden it got really quiet. All right, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. All right, here we go. She's feeling glamorous. Right? Now we have that little glamour separation, right? Little bit, little wisps, right? This is when your retoucher starts hating you because you have all those wisps of hair going all over the place, right? Different styles, right? You like that better? You like more of a kind of a casual side sweep? Whatever, right? They're all kind of separation / hair lights. You could do it any way you like. It just gives her that little bit of separation that brings her off the background so she's not just sitting there, right? And again, the other thing you could do is you could like the background itself, which I don't think will be my favorite, but whenever I say I won't like something, I end up liking it better, so I should just do it, right? Isn't that always the way?
True.
It is true, right? Whenever I'm like, that won't work, it's like, oh yeah, that was the way to do
That
it.
was the best shot.
That was the best shot all ever. All right. Softbox. Let's see, we're gonna light the background. Should we do it kind of like a shh? Do you like that style?
Do the
Yeah.
do it.
Marissa says to do a shh. It's important to have all of your various lighting techniques named. That one is the shh. Okay, even though it's nice to use this and that, I don't know why it's there. You may have been missing an arm. Okay. Here we go. Well, I can also bounce it off the ground.
Oh,
We've never done that before.
that would this just swap.
Should we try it? We're doing it. All right. You guys have never seen this before. It's bouncing off the ground, radiating up towards our subject. I'm still in TTL. Let's see what happens. Step back. There we go. No, me. Good. There you go. I just stepped back because I wasn't sure if something was going to happen. Oh, look at that. She's like, I'm on a poster for a movie. And somewhat confused by it. All right, let me get a little closer. I almost got that. I missed it, though. I was focusing. That's because I have it on focus priority, not there we go. Yeah, so now we have this nice kind of glow behind her, right? What if that was like a warm color, like a sunset? No? I'm not touching it.
You want a real CTO? Because I don't think I got it.
I think it was something warm, like a orangey color.
You know what, Hulk?
What?
Tripod box.
That would be useful.
What?
I'm sorry? Huh. We got it, thank you though. This one here is 14, which is my favorite number.
Yeah, that's a special gel. It's called Magic. You gonna clip it?
Yep. All right, guys. I know that nobody's ever put colored gel on anything ever before. This might actually be too good. Well, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah, it's just an iPad box. It's to deter thieves from stealing real things.
I think I need maybe tape or something. I don't know how I would do this.
You need tape,
Well,
sir. Have you done this before?
not with the one clip.
Do I have to finish your demo again? Do I gotta clean?
Yes.
Do I gotta wipe your nose again?
Yes, you do. All right.
Can't use the price tag.
The price tag. All right. Excited? This is pretty good, actually. I'm liking this. We're creating something new here. This is called the, what do we call this one? We'll call it the bounce splash. No, the when you go like that. This will be the bounce splash. This is the bounce splash, guys. You've never seen this before. Maybe you have. You've probably seen it before, but nobody else has. All right, what's going to happen? Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, Marissa, we got this. All right, here we go. It could be that nothing will happen, so just be ready for it. All right, here we go. Boom. Just like she's on the beach in Miami, we got a warm background, right? Just like that. So there we go. We could do a little separation like that. The only problem with this is I feel like it's bleeding into her shoulders too much. So to me, it doesn't really separate her enough. So I'm going to say no. No? Okay. I know you did all that work just for that. Sometimes you got to try the gel And sometimes the gel don't work. Possibly something like a complementary color would have separated her, but I don't like to use green.
We can use green. It's Christmas.
Do we have a bright green though?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're doing green. We're already into gel technique and we haven't gone that far. It's still early for gels, so you guys are getting a little extra treat.
I'm going to give you rewind green.
Oh, rewind green. If you guys don't know, and I'm sure you do,
Which is just moss.
Seth hosts a show on Adorama TV called Rewind on Mondays at 2-ish time, something like that. Is that right? That's right. 2-ish time.
You know, tape the sides, you don't believe.
Well, I don't mind bleeding.
This is her for my Christmas sweater.
This is it. We're making Marissa's next year, guys. When you get Marissa's Christmas card, this is gonna be the shot.
You know what makes this gel special? The footprint on it.
Is it Joe's?
It's just, yeah.
This gel was stepped on by somebody. Okay, here we go. All right, so look all Christmassy, like, oh, I want something good for Christmas. All right. I know, it suddenly made it vertical. I know, weird, right? I just want to see how far it was going to dip down. Okay, so that's fine. It's too dark. So what do I do if the gel is too dark? More power, right? More power equals more. Now, I am going to bite into the saturation when I do that, but I think I can give it a stop without too much trouble. I'm also going to give a little bit more to my key light. Okay, here we go. Going back to the better composition, which is the Facebook banner. All right, here we go. Let me get a focus spot, and good. There we go. Boom. She's like, oh, it's Christmas. And we got the green. We're so dark today.
Yeah, you are dark.
Everything feels really moody.
Still gridded?
Yeah, I'm gridded, that's why. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm going to raise everything. Oh, I know what's going on. I'm going to raise everything up 3/10 because I had a minus 3/10 dialed in because the silver. All right, here we go. All I want for Christmas is a black magic. Okay, good. I just brought everything up a smidge, and then that's her looking at me like, why are you not adjusting the light? All right, we're getting better light there. I had my original exposure set a little bit dark. Good. Oh, one more. Good. All right, that's green. I kind of like that bouncy thing. We will use that again. Guys, you will see that in 2020. All right. Yay, right. Okay, good. Let's go. Let's create something that's a little bit more textury. I want to do like a profile, which I have to end the year in a profile because I like my profiles. We're going to swing back around and do, oh, actually, you know what? Nah. All right. What? Let's come back around. We're going to do a profile this way. And we're going to start what we did before, but instead of doing just that kind of shot, just got to show you guys where the light falls, I'm going to bring a secondary light in to kind of shape her out a bit. Okay? I will leave this boomed. Maybe. To keep, because I'm probably going to want to boom it again later. So I'm going to go like this. Oh, oh, I feel something pulling. Oh, that's less than ideal. Okay, it's under the leg. Okay, watch yourself. Swipe the leg. Sweep the leg. I had my wires crossed there.
You had your wires crossed?
I had my wires crossed. Come on. No? All right.
Professor from Futurama.
All right. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, so we're back at this kind of light. It's going to be a little specular, so get ready for it. We'll leave the green there for now. I lied. All right, we're in TTL. I'm just going to see what this one looks like. Again, I think I'll go horizontal on this because I'm going to create. Let me see a little bit more of the front of you. There you go. All right, so this is going to fall off into darkness pretty quickly, right?
Ooh,
It's moody. Yeah.
That Daniel light.
Yeah. All right, so we're a little hot.
You think?
Just a smidge. All right, I'm dialing my TTL down a bit. When things are backlit, you know, oftentimes TTL doesn't really know exactly what to do. It's like, I don't know what to do. So you just got to give it a little dial. Oh, there you go. It makes her close her eyes. One more time. Good. Oh, one more. Luckily, I have many pixels. Oh, I kind of like that little, like almost. Okay, so, all right, that's kind of neat. Okay, we'll start there. I'm gonna now give some separation from the back, right? This is what we got the softbox here for. You might be like, Daniel, why would you have a softbox? Well, you know, for some separation. Thank you. All right, always pull the tape off the gel when you're done with it. It's so tempting just to throw the gel on the ground, but you will regret that later. Let me tell you that. Having trashed many a gel in my day. Yes, I would never trash Seth's gels. Cool. All right, so we got the B1X back. So if I take this, well, let's just do it. If I take it from back here, this will kind of make sense because it'll be kind of coming from the back of her, so it kind of makes the same angle. But it won't necessarily give us enough fill on this side of her face. We'll have to see with the softbox. Once I throw this on, we'll see. So what we might have to do is bring this guy around slightly. Just let me see you in that. Good. Right there. Just like a baby Yoda. All right, here we go. Now we got this light here. I'm in TTL. I'm going to go back down because I'm going to have it dialed up. So I'm going to go back to 0. And let's see what we got here. Focusing, here we go. There we go, right? Now, we're adding some dimensionality. That might be a bit much, no? Just a bit much. This is where our taste comes in, right? Now we're like, what do I like? Do I like it to feel like the other light? Because it's kind of coming from the same direction. Maybe they should be the same brightness. But then you might be like, but that's kind of distracting from her beautiful eyes, Daniel. And then I'll be like, yeah, you're probably right. So then I'm going to go, and I have to make a decision. There's a few ways to do it. You could just go with your gut, right? You could grab your exposure slider here and be like, here's my exposure slider. Let me pull it back until her hair looks right. Oh, what would that do? Until her hair looks right. Let's say there, right? Now, granted, the rest of her looks too dark, right? I'm only looking at the hair now. That's about a stop and a half. So I'm going to go back. And I'm only going to adjust the hair light a stop and a half. Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just do that to start with. So currently, for the ratio people out there, our key light, which is this one, it's not key lime, that was a different color, -3, because today Marissa is -3. Our background, or hair light, backlight I should say, is 1.5 stops under. That looks good, get all moody. All right, eyes up. Oh, what am I seeing back there? Oh, I see a piece of metal, but actually the light's not hitting it. Oh, that's better, right? What do you think? Too dark? What do you like, right? At first you're like, wow, that's really bright, but maybe that makes more sense, right? That's kind of like more traditionally right, probably, right? But doesn't that one kind of work better because it makes more sense? Lori doesn't think so. And that's why we have both, right? We can basically do what we think works better in each individual situation. Maybe we'll split the difference, because whenever you're not sure, and you have so many pixels, I have so many pixels, I'm going to split the difference. This is the difference right here, it's being split. Oh, and you kind of fixed your hair in a weird way, which is kind of cool. All right, we'll go with that. I think we're getting more light on your cheek now, which could be interesting. Oh yeah, a little bit. Very, very subtle. That's kind of cool too, right? She's got that hair scarf going. All right. Listen, let me tell you something. If you asked a makeup artist, hairstylist to do that, it'd take like 45 minutes. They'd be like, hold on. Marissa just did it naturally, right? But here, what happened here was because she pushed her hair out, now we're getting a little bit of highlight here filling in, right? So that's kind of interesting if you like that. And this is what's nice about this kind of lighting is we'll shoot a couple, right? Let's see what they look like by just slightly shifting Marissa. Come back this way a bit. Right there. Chin down. Good. More focus here. Good. Nice. Nice. Right? We can change things, right? Now she's got a little more eye in the dark. We want eye more in the light. We can do that as well. Yeah, just and then come back with your eyes this way. right here with the actual eyeballs. Come here with your face. Right there, stop. And then put your eyeballs. Yeah, perfect. Right there, focusing. And here we go. Good. All right, so what I did there was, right, I had her look ahead of herself instead of looking back at me or looking, you know, in the direction her face was facing, and more like just straight ahead. That gave us more of her eyes, which caught the light, you know, so now we have the full eye in there. So it kind of depends on the style you want to go for. You know, here she's looking, you know, more towards me, like a creep.
The last time we did this, we put a paper towel on the grid, remember?
Yes, we did put a paper towel on the grid. So little changes, right? This is the same light, and I'm getting a lot of different feeling depending on where she puts her face. And a lot of this comes down to the contrast of how much light or dark is hitting her face. If I just shot this thing flat, every one of these pictures would be exactly the same. By having this shadow to play with and highlight, we're able to create a lot of different looks just simply by moving our subject around, right? See how I got back into the thing? You didn't think I was going there, so that's like, you know, he's lost.
I didn't think.
You didn't think I was there.
Something where she just moves a bunch, you get different shots.
Yeah, you know, she moves a bunch, gets different shots. Oh, what if she was to switch the lights around and made the softbox her key light?
See, now you're just getting lazy.
Right? So this is what happens here. Here's Daniel talking to himself. Yes.
Can you maintain the dramatics of that last shot and just bring in a little
Oh, you want a little fill light? Oh, you got to challenge me. Yeah, of course. I could do anything that you like. For you, one of the originals.
Let's do this.
Yes. Oh, okay. Tinfoil. A specular highlight at that. Are you going to help?
Yeah, why not?
All right. All right, Marissa, we're going to do that. This is the one you wanted, right?
Yes, too.
This is it? This one? Okay. We're going to do that again. But we're going to add a little bit of fill. All right, you're on my sync cord. Thanks.
You're on your sync cord.
All right. All right, get into your spot. Let's see.
All right, there you see it.
Yeah, I see it. It might be too much, but we'll try it.
I'll drop back.
All right, here we go.
Click.
Let's try. Yeah, man. See, adding that reflector killed the whole thing. Let's just try it again.
What the hell?
We had a little goofball there. Could we, actually,
You're gonna get a
bring your
hair
head,
shadow,
bring
I
your head
think.
this way.
Yeah.
Right there. Good.
There you go. A little too much, but yeah.
Yeah.
So let's drop this back.
Yeah, or maybe white.
Nah,
Or crinkled.
No, I have to focus it, that's why.
Focus. Wax on. Wow. Why am I in Karate Kid mode today? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Nice. That also works. I'm not
But we couldn't do white because it was going to spread instead of hit.
Yeah, no, you're right. It flattened it too much, yeah. So it really comes down to how much detail and stuff that you want there. I mean, the other thing to say here,
Yeah.
while I'm advocating, you know, this more kind of contrasty stuff, is that if you go here and then later on you want that detail back, it's probably going to be noisy because noise lives usually in your shadows. So if you're shooting this way, make sure you want it this way, right? You could always shoot it more filled in, you know, like one of these, and then crunch your darks over here a bit. So you could do that. I mean, you'd have to mess with more of it than just that, but you know, you can kind of bring it back a bit that way. But you know, if I was shooting a client project, what I might do is split the difference, like somewhere in the middle, like we started to do with the reflector, and then I would adjust the sliders to be a bit dark as I'm shooting it. That way they'd see it the way I like it, but I'd have that room later on when like their grandmother looks at it and goes, "But I can't see your cheek." You know, she likes your cheeks. I don't know. All right, questions, thoughts, concerns. Does that make sense so far? I feel like I'm going really fast. Yes. Nothing. Okay, anything online besides harassing me?
We're not doing Rembrandt lighting. Stop.
I'm not even sure I can do Rembrandt lighting. All right, so here I am in the studio, in the Adorama retail store, and I'm talking to you all, and Marissa, being Marissa, she turned around, right, trying to hog the attention as usual, and I see that I could, in fact, the light on her this direction is not bad either. Sometimes things will happen when you're shooting that you're just like, oh, let me see. It's worth trying different stuff. Even though this is the look I wanted, let's see what it looks like with the softbox as the key, right? Now, generally, you want to use your most expensive light as the key, But in this case, we'll take half a step forward. Forward towards the light. Yeah. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. So, oh yeah, come back this way slightly with the fish. Yep, good. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to move any light yet. I'm just going to see what this looks like. Now.
If it hits, I'm a genius.
Yeah, and if it's perfect, listen, why change if it's
It'll
going
be
to
a video next week.
Yes. How to get two different looks. All right, let's just try that. Let's see what we got.
Oh, brilliant, Daniel. Look at you.
Oh, that's terrible. All right, so, I mean, your hair is looking good.
Oh, wow.
It's sharp. I mean, it's an icon. All right, so we're too hot.
Nah, you're right. You're,
I think we're on the hot side overall.
for you, this isn't.
For me, it's not overexposed, but I know everybody online likes it. So I'm at minus 0.7. I'll go to minus 0.8. No, I'll go 11. Because this one goes to 11. Good. All right, just dial it down by half a stop. Oh,
She changed
okay.
the angle.
Yeah, she changed the angle a bit, which actually changes the contrast. And it's starting to look too flat to me. Do you know? Honestly, this is fine, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me get the better exposure.
Yeah, this one's.
Oh, you're fixing, you know. Then, you know, you look at this. It's the same light, right? She just flipped around the other way. The softbox is spreading more. Not only is it slightly larger, it's also 120, 140 degrees of spread. The beauty dish, 25 degrees, right? So it's not going to spread out as much. So the softbox is wrapping around. Some people don't like when I say that. Wrapping around more. It's covering more area, right? It's also slightly less specular, so it's creating like a flatter light. This is good. This will be a little bit more gentle for somebody, let's say, that didn't have as nice a skin. So you can think of it that way, right? You could work this with somebody with the what I would probably do though, because we're not getting enough shadow for me, is do that but kind of projector, so we can really emphasize your giant neck. Yeah, so she's got like a crazy neck, right? So this way we get that jawline, like whoosh, I kind of want that hair to move.
You want to feather off the box so it's not.
Yeah, yeah, let's feather it. So many feathers.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a feathered look. Let's do this with the. Yeah. By the way, I used to have really, really short hair. I mean, I do in some spots, and I grew it long just so I could tell models how to do their hair. I used to do this, and they'd be like, "What are you flipping me off?" Oh, that's good too. That's not what I meant, but I like it. If somebody does something you don't like, sometimes it works. Although I feel like I'm gonna have to make it darker on that side of your neck. Yes, I am. Okay, I like the light on your face, and also the way your hair's fallen. The back of her head looks terrible now, right? The back of your head is terrible. You know, I'm just gonna kill this light because I was gonna spin this, but a boomed out heavy thing is probably not a good idea just to spin. So I will forget that I was gonna do that. And I will turn it off because I can do that. I have that power. C, head. Let's just do this. We're back to one light again. And since we've already set up the other light, we'll still get paid for it. There we go. Okay, now that might be a little too moody, right? Although with a little bit of a blue gel on, that might be a... So we want something. I don't know. You gonna use a tinfoil again?
You want to just do a silver board?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
Do you have a tiny little silver board like this big? Oh, perfect. Yes. We need a name for this.
Without these wonderful toys.
All right, after Hanukkah, when Seth gives his presents away in these, we're not going to have them anymore. All right, we just want a little like.
Yeah, but you want to just. You don't
Yeah, I just want a nipper, separation.
Right there, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Good.
Just hit enter.
I'm going to hit enter. Okay. Little, not enough, yeah.
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 I mean, I'm looking at it. So.
Yeah, me too.
We're also using a frickin' envelope.
Yeah, that's a little too much. Can we use the blue envelope?
Oh, you want to? Okay.
Or if we have blue? Or purple?
Hey, want to do a gold one?
All right, we'll use a gold envelope.
Ooh.
Hang on. Actually,
Or not. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, the gold envelope. All right, we're going to use a little gold reflector. Because many years ago, when I very first started doing these demos, I made the statement, don't ever use a gold reflector. So we'll now use a gold reflector.
yeah, I'm going to back out, though, so you get like
Yeah,
half.
just a little smidge.
Just like half, You want it like to meet her cheek line?
Not quite.
Like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the light in the shot, but that's okay. We'll crop that in post. All right. That's not terrible.
Oh, it's like she's by a candle. and
Let's
it's
do
like-
let's do one more where I don't screw up the. There we go. Chin down a smidge. Look all angsty. Good.
Yeah.
There you go. That's nice. Well, maybe a little too much, but it's okay. Good enough.
She's
All right.
opening the door on a snowy day, but yet there's a fire in the room.
Exactly. What is the story to this shot? All right. So now we're, and again, if we completely flatten out this side of her, kind of like we did. I mean, this is overkill, obviously, when we had the light turned on. You know, where you got too much light there, it actually is just too flat, and then you get this weird kind of separation here. This is actually nice. It's nice and subtle. So choose your tools. Choose your tools. That still feels like a little much, so I think I probably would jump down in here and just drop the.
Wait, too much bounce?
Yeah, I would just do that. There you go. I fixed it in post. Sorry, guys. After I said all the time, never fix it in post. I mean, you can only bounce. If you really wanted a super lot of control here, you would add another light and just really kiss it in there. But we're not going to do that because we have a giant umbrella.
What is going
Envelope.
on today?
I don't know what things are called. All right. Questions. Where are we at now?
We should put the light inside of here.
Oh, we're doing great. We've got plenty of time. Let's do one more. The light inside there? No, I don't think so. I would use a snoot because people always ask me, and I can make fun of snoots. Now that I use the gold reflector, I'm basically completely selling out.
Oh, I got cinefoil.
Nah. Okay, but here's the thing, right? Remember when I first set this up, I was like, oh, we could put it like this, or I could put it more from that direction. Let's see what that would look like. Let's see if I just did the last 15 minutes for nothing and we get a better shot. So look back towards the beauty dish. All right, we're going to turn C on.
Ooh.
All right. So now towards the beauty dish. This is a softbox. All right. This is our first day. All right. Actually, there's warming gel on this one. We'll do it this later. All right. Oh, let me turn the light on so people can see.
What are you trying to do?
That didn't do anything.
No. You trying to turn the model on? Isn't the head off?
That shouldn't be. Just turn it on.
Yeah, now you're on.
Okay. There we go. All right. On and on and on. Okay. Perfecto. That's Spanish. All right. I'm going to go like this. This is an advanced technique here, guys. Oh, okay, perfect. Let's see what we get. I'm in TTL. It's probably going to be a terrible exposure, but let's see. Yeah, it's too bright, just as we suspected, right? So now we've moved it more to the front, so we're getting, what's that?
You want to
And now we're going to see this back here too. Yeah. I want some warm
warm what?
on the softbox.
All right.
Okay, so let's take, now the other problem with doing it this way is that now our background's getting dark gray as opposed to black, right? Because some of the light from the softbox is hitting the background.
It is getting really warm.
That's okay, I like really warm.
You could throw like a tissue paper on there if you want.
Oh, we could diffuse it.
I think we should diffuse it. We haven't done that.
We can do it.
I mean, you're doing all these things like face this way, face that way.
I am doing that. Right there, right there, right there, right there, Rembrandt. Sorry. Okay, right, this is gonna look bad, right? So it's way too bright for this angle. Also, it messed up her hair. She's like, what are you doing? All right, so like I said, this light's probably too bright because now I'm hitting her directly, right? So we're covering too much area. So this is my A group. I'm in TTL, I'm just gonna take my A down. Now the thing with TTL is you can only go down a bit. In this one, it is 2 stops. I'm already at 1.1 down, so I think I need a lot more than that down. So now I'm going to switch to manual. So then I'm going to go to my A group, and I'm going to turn it down. One, 2, 3 stops, because I just want to kiss it. Okay, let's see what that looks like. And then we will diffuse that as well. I'm going to come at this direction a bit. Good. There we go. Okay, so that's too much. I'm getting not enough. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to dial it back up. We'll go 1 stop. Okay, there we go. You know, to make this a lot easier, it would be a light meter. But we're going to do it this way. Oh, there we go. Now we're starting to get it. Okay, so I'm just going to kiss this up a little bit at a time. Half a stop there. Okay, now we're just getting that warmth on the hair light. We're getting a little bit of fill on the cheek, right? And let's see what we got going on here. So this is a bit specular, but I kind of like the pose. So in order to reduce the specularity of it, so the highlight, we can put diffusion on our beauty dish. So I did that? I worked the way into the diffusion that you had in your hands.
Yeah, I don't think we should diffuse the whole thing.
No, we're not going to. We're going to diffuse part of the beauty dish.
You want to diffuse the top, right?
Because nobody diffuses the whole beauty dish. Yeah, let's just do the top.
Yeah.
Right. Here's a couple things here, though. When we diffuse the beauty dish, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, it's going to lose some power on part of it, right? Because we're only doing part of it. Number two, when the grid hits, the light coming out of the grid hits that diffusion, it's no longer going to be 25 degrees because it's going to hit the diffusion and spread out. So we're going to get a little bit less of the condensed light. It's going to be a little more spread out. So we're going to get some spill, as it would be. Having like a weird deja vu. We did this once before.
We did it with a paper towel.
Except it was with a paper towel. And it might have been the bottom of the beauty dish as well. All right. Yeah, it's important. By the way, you can buy on my web store the half beauty dish diffuser. No, I'm just kidding. This is what happens when you get a brand new gaffer. You're like, I need half diffusion on that, and they do this. See, that's you have to no, because it's half diffusion, full diffusion. Okay, forget it. That's like a hardcore joke.
I left it on her cheek line. So.
Perfect. I couldn't ask for a better diffuser than that. I mean, I wouldn't get it, but. Oh, up, good. Nice. I'm not sure I love the way the hair is right here.
You move it.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little more hair on the back of you.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't mind it over on the side of you, but I want more on the back too, because that's where the light's going. There we go. That's it. Marvelous. There we go. Yeah. Oh.
Stranger Things.
Right now we've got the warmth coming in. We have a little diffusion, right?
Can we see the before? The diffusion?
The before.
I don't remember what that was. I think it was that one. Yeah,
Note that if you say it doesn't look good with the diffusions, that's going to be very sad. He's been his hold.
Well,
Yeah, no, you can see the difference. Yeah, you want to see what it does. Yeah.
So that versus that.
Yeah.
You see how the textures change?
Yeah, on the highlight. And what's interesting is if you look like, too, he's not covering her whole face, so that way, like, their cheek and stuff still gets it, right?
Oh,
Yeah, well done. Well done.
I'm just never going to stop saving you with
Yeah.
that.
And you see that beautiful scar? That will always remain on her forehead.
That's the Harry Potter scar.
That's it. That was the scar from the chosen one, right? The one who survived.
Right here.
That's it.
Right in this area.
Right.
Oh no, you're human.
The
How
chosen.
dare you?
She's the chosen one. That's actually pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Should we flatten it out to ruin it?
Bring it full circle.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. No, we're not going to do that. So yes, we will. Sorry.
Yeah, let's just rip a silver.
No, okay.
Flatten
Oh, I
it
just
out.
missed.
Take the same shot and we'll just do a silver from underneath.
All right, we're going to put, that might actually look good though. In order to prove my point, I have to make it look bad.
Listen, tough guy.
Oh, there you go. That's terrible. All right, good.
Finish strong, Daniel. Finish strong. Finish.
Never. I didn't really do much at all. It made her happy. It did. Yeah, it softened it up.
The hair, that one.
Yeah. She's like, what's going on?
This is
Yeah. Boom,
milliseconds
boom.
before she smells something bad.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so. All right, let's try that again without all the other screw-ups that we had. Get the hair properly. Get the silver. Your Christmas card is in that envelope. It's filled in. I can't bring myself to completely ruin it, but it filled in a little bit doesn't hurt. It's not that, right? Changes the shape of her face, right? Changes the vibe of it, right? Makes her eyes closed. It really changes a lot of things. So, whatever. I'm not going to try to say one's better than the other. I think you guys can make your own decisions, but I like to use the darker shadows to help shape the face. I think it really makes a difference, right? Where you place them is what's going to be important. So really pay attention to that because you want to look at things that should be shaped, right? We want the cheekbones to pop. We want a highlight in the forehead. We want the nose. I was on Twitch. I have a Twitch now. Anybody on Twitch with me? And somebody was like, well, Marissa had a little shine on her nose, and they were like, how would you fix that? And I like went into Photoshop, and I did. I said, this is how you would do it, but I would never do that because that's going to make her nose look flatter, which is going to make it look wider. You should have a highlight in the center of the nose. It's the closest thing to the light, right? When people start retouching and lighting in a way that's too flat, it kills the dimensionality of somebody's face. You want highlight. You want shadow. What you don't want to do is lose detail. You want your shadows with enough detail that you can bring it back a little bit. You want your highlights where they're not completely blown out. That's what's important, right? Not that it shouldn't be bright, but that you should have, you need that. That's how we shape her nose. See how there's, if you look closely at her nose, let's look closely at Marissa's nose. You've got shadow, you've got some midtone coming in, then you have a couple layers of a highlight, right? Then you even have this kind of back shadow here. This is actually what's shaping her. All of this shapes her. If I flatten that out to get rid of that, next thing you know, her whole face is flat. We don't want to do that. We want dimensionality. That's what makes her a person. That's what makes her a person, right? And not a drawing, or yeah, exactly. Okay, questions? It's the end of the year, I get to preach a little bit. But really think about using shadows. I think it's important to do. Should we do one more shot with just a softbox? Who wants to see a shot just with the softbox? Yay! All right, good. Should we leave it orange like a maniac? Yes.
Yes.
Which orange is this so we can fix it in
You're
post?
not going to fix it.
Yeah, what if we have the
not calibrated.
color checker?
It's not calibrated.
We'll color checker.
You color checking your brains out. It's still orange, not CTO.
I know, but I'm going to color checker it.
So get your color checker. Do it. Check your colors. Not just like that. You color colors.
Oh, this is interesting. Look at you. Just like that.
Actually, you know what? You want to
What?
gel the beauty edition, just have the shadow go to two colors?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
That's exactly what I want to do. The opposite of this color.
Blue?
Yep. Or purple.
Do you want blue or purple? Don't
Purple if you got it.
passive-aggressive me. All
Purple because I like purple. We haven't done purple in a while. We always do blue.
Right. How about this?
Purple is what makes you leave,
Purple
really?
and orange?
Yes, purple and orange. The color of the Florida Gators. Right? Close, right? What's that?
Dawn. Your first colors in dawn.
Oh, and dawn. Man, I don't get up that early. That is true, and dawn. The dawn light is so much more interesting to me than the sunset light, maybe because it's so much more fleeting.
So I'm going to turn this monitor off because it's going to...
Okay.
Can you turn it off?
I can turn it off. I have that power. All right, we got some stuff going on here, guys. We're about to get Gel Crazy. Gel Crazy was the name of my first EP. I used to stand in the corner and hand it to people randomly and then be like, try to charge them for it after the fact. Right? People who are in New York, you know what I'm talking about. They hand you a random CD. Nobody's ever had that before. You know you have.
Tell them that's tracing paper.
All right, this is tracing paper. You can get this from Tracy. You can get it at an art store. Just regular tracing paper.
Just don't put on highlights.
Don't put it on a hot light. If you want something similar to this vibe, you could get some spun diffusion. That would be similar. It's not exactly the same. Haven't used spun in a while. I'm a fan of spun. Homespun. All right, I'm just going to start with one light, the A light, which is this guy. It's orange. Perfecto. Again, Spanish. All right, yep, it's orange, right? You are so orange. I hate to use tungsten lights because they're so orange. I'm just curious what will happen if I zap it. Like how much other color is in this? I'm just going to zap it with my white balancy thingy. Oh yeah, look at all the magenta it added. That's so interesting.
Yeah, because it's not a real...
Yeah, because it's not an actual color correction gel. Yeah, it's kind of cool though.
No, it's because it's not a temperature of light.
Yeah, it's not a temperature, it's a color change. So not this is a gel demo, but just in case you don't understand, there's color correction gels like CTO, CTB, which are color temperature gels, or like plus green, or minus green. This is not, this is just orange. So when I try to fix it, right, using my color checker, yeah, her eye goes white-ish, but it pulls all this other weird magenta-y color in. You know, I could throw that on Instagram and be like, that's my style.
I'm selling these presets.
This is my preset. Preset, use the wrong gel preset. All right, here we go. I'm leaving it like that because,
Oh, really? Because I just reset it.
oh, no, whatever, I'll fix it
I
again.
want to see the purple with this.
All right, we're gonna do it.
It's bleeding. Look.
You only get half purple. All right, we got half purple here. All right, here we go. We're gonna purple this thing on the back. We're probably gonna have to find a spot in the middle that seems right because I feel like that's probably too orange for me, for my taste. Probably if you look hard enough on the internet, you'll see some pictures I took that look like this. So I'm not, you know, I lived in Miami. Like, throw an orange gel on there. Here we go. Turn the modeling light on. Here we go. Boom. Nothing happened. There it is.
That's better, right?
That's purple.
Purplish.
Should we do one at a time just to like,
Hold on, I can't get this in. How bent is this?
it's very bent.
Oh my god. This poor beauty dish.
Well, she's facing this way anyways. You probably don't need the diffusion.
Oh, it's there.
This is just purple?
Oh wow.
Oh. All
Ate
right.
up a lot of light.
Yeah, it does. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn back on my key light, which is the Softbox. And that purple light, I'm actually going to dial down. I want it to be a little darker, I think. All right, let's see. I got to go wide enough to see the whole thing. Here we go. Oh, well, that looks terrible.
Very bad. Yeah.
That's really not good.
Actually, now if you do
Aha! Now let's do this and see what we got. Right? Now we're going to zap out the color.
this, do it right here.
Yeah. There we go. Now the purple is electric. It would be nice if it wrapped around a little bit more.
You're not, well, you got a grid on it.
Yeah, we're going to need to maybe either lose the grid or bring the light forward.
You want
Or have Marissa step back. Step back. This way. Good. That should do it. Let's see. That should help.
It'll help, but it's not going to do
Well, it's not going to be perfect. Nothing's perfect in this world. Yeah. I actually saw somebody on the subway with hair that color.
It's like, you could have just done this with a gel. And
I could have just done it with a gel, but it's weird. Yeah, let's just lose this. All right, we're going to lose this guy. Thank you.
oh, I wonder what it is now without a
Yep.
correction.
All right, we're just going to shoot without anything.
This is going to go blue pretty quick.
Yeah, this should be nice. This is the one, so get all alienish. There we go. Because aliens are always blue. There we go.
Hey. Just apple R that thing. Boom.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
I feel like the purple didn't do that much.
Yeah, of course it did.
I'd like more purple.
Well, you have a gridded, you have
Could
a
I have-
non-spreading light on purpose, and you're going to.
Could I have some more purple?
Light.
Could you look towards the purple?
I'd like more spill with this photo. Like that makes no sense.
I can have what I want. Look towards me. Right there. All right, here we go. Just curious here. So, You know, it'd be cool if it was purple back here
Where?
and then not purple here.
Are you going to make me half gel?
Might have to half gel.
Oh, God, I hate you so much.
It'd be nice to half gel, I think. Or start another light, but another
Yeah, but if you're going to do a half gel, you might as well not do it with a beauty dish, unless we tape it to the grid.
Yeah, to the grid, I think is the way to do it.
You want to do what? You want to do, look at
Yep.
You want to do purple to what?
To nothing.
So you want to go clean on the back
Yep.
side of her face?
No, clean on the front.
So then the opposite of what I just
Yeah,
said.
exactly. All right, so what we're going to do here, you going to do it? No, I can do it. We're going to gel part of the beauty dish with purple. Hoping that, now, this is not going to be perfect, I'll tell you that right now, because when the light is coming forward, it's going to hit, they're going to, once it leaves the beauty dish, it's not like it's a focused down light. It's 25 degrees, but it's, so it's going to spread a little bit. It's not going to get super saturated purple, but we should get a little smidge. I got faith. It's also a very small gel.
Yeah.
What would probably actually work better is if we just held the gel right by her face.
Oh, you want to do a projection?
Yeah, like a projection. I need some help.
Well, then that's going to be. Oh no, I don't have it.
You can have him hold it. Come on. You've been here all year.
It's your big moment.
This is it. Marissa, step in.
So now.
You don't get to be the model. Come on.
I mean, he would kill
Yeah,
me.
you're gonna stand right there. As an assistant, you have to be invisible. So you're gonna have to be here, and then you're gonna basically project color onto Marissa. See how I'm doing that, like that?
Yeah.
Just like that, don't screw it up. All right, you got this.
You've got this.
All right. That's right. Is it on you? Closer to her.
Closer to her.
Yeah. Remove that hand. I don't want your hand in the shot. Gotta hold it from the top. All right, good. Turn your face slightly this way, Marissa. All right, can we lose that elbow? Get yourself tighter. There we go. No, you're good. All right. Well, I mean, you know, I don't have a lot of room here. Here we go. I'm using the 70. Get my 300. Again. All right, let's see. Let's see what this is doing. I gotta crop this one differently, guys, so we can get our assistant out of the shot. Okay, here we go. Let's see what that does. Yeah, there we go. That worked. See what happened there? Purple on this side, nothing on this side. We're projecting purple. I'd rather it higher up on her head, though, and not so much on her neck. Right? You thought the same thing, right? Yeah, that's what I thought, too. Also, now I feel like this is too bright. So I'm going to kill this guy. This is A. I'm going to drop this down 2 stops. All right, here we go. We got this. You with me? Bring it up higher. Higher. Perfect. Nice tight shot. Boom. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Wow, okay.
You dropped 2 stops out of this light.
Yeah, that was too much.
You think?
I was just testing you guys. Did you step forward?
No.
Are you sure? Okay. It's always important to blame the model. Good. Here we go.
The gel's too close to the light.
Move the gel closer into Marissa. Let's see, right there, right there, right there. I can see the saturation coming. A little closer. Closer to Marissa. Right there. Wow, yeah. Ooh, gel. All right, let's see what that looks like. No, 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 no. Still too dark. Did I also drop this light? I think I did by mistake, maybe. I may have had both of them selected. Let me just quickly check. All right, I'm going back to 0 there. All right, when your TTL starts to get a little wacky, sometimes it's a good idea just to reset it. So we're going to take a quick shot. This is probably not going to be properly exposed, and then I will adjust. Oh. Or it'll be better, so then you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so now we got half face. It worked.
Well,
I don't like it.
What we could do is actually put the orange on the other side.
Right, now we do the orange.
Yeah.
The orange.
On her face, though.
Oh, on the other side of her face. Oh, like,
Two-faced.
oh, I like it.
Harvey Dent style.
Why not?
You want to do orange?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or do you want to do green?
Green,
Yep.
just like Braveheart.
What happened to the green I
Purple
gave you?
looks really nice for the blue eyes.
Yeah, the purple is nice for blue eyes, right?
Really nice.
What'd you do with that green I gave you?
Right? I don't know what I did with the green. I'm not responsible. I'm not a responsible person. You should know that.
Let's do this.
All right, here we go. We're doing it Braveheart style. I'm gonna move this out of the way. So be brave.
Mine's all banged up, though.
Oh boy. And now I'm under your elbow.
Well, I was on
Payback.
your elbow last time. You're a furnace of an elbow.
Oh, interesting.
What did you just do?
I was
Marissa?
not ready.
I think you were too ready.
I was joking.
I'm pretty sure that you were ready.
This is a girl. It's like, do you have Cash App?
Yeah. All right. I want to get more of her hair in there, so let me go a little wider. All right. Here we go. This
I love you, Daniel.
This is my life.
I love you, Daniel.
All right. Purple gel is in my shot. Your elbow is in the shot, sir. Good.
Purple elbow. He has a name.
I thought it was a gel at first. Okay. All right. Getting there. All right.
Look at all that porcelain.
Let's try one more
You
time.
guys are crazy.
Mr. S, I'll be serious.
Where's it? We're doing something for real now.
All right. This is it. This is a serious shot.
All right.
Because this is what it's like being a photographer.
Boy.
I look like somebody at Mardi Gras. Like,
Hang on. I got no gel in this. There
Come
we go.
this way a little bit with your face. Good, good, good. Right there. Oh, perfect. Right there. Oh, right here with your eyes.
Oh,
Come this
oh
way.
my God.
Actually, whole face this way.
Oh, this might
Right
be
there,
a
stop.
thumbnail one day.
Right there. Hold.
Oh.
Do we have enough purple? Yes, we do. Oh, his elbow wasn't there. Please move your elbow, purple gentleman. Good. Good. Just got a hint of the hair in there. It's not very green. It just makes it look blue.
It's flying past her.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm watching it cast.
Yeah, no, it's on her. Her skin's just absorbing it because she's got so much magenta in her skin.
Well, that's what gingers do.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And we got it. All right, so we'll rewind the tapes. Yeah, we got the green's hitting her. It's just her skin is not absorbing it. It kind of comes down to what I was saying before about ratios. See how I bring things back around? It's all about bringing it back around. Everybody's a little bit different. That green gel on her does almost nothing because her skin is just absorbing. It's just the way it is,
Well,
you know?
wait,
She has a lot of magenta in her skin.
You know, does she still have the magenta in the skin because we did a correction?
Did we? No, I thought we went back to R. There's no correction. She just has magenta in her skin. I have the same thing. That's why I am invisible under fluorescent light.
I lost all your tools.
You lost my
No,
tools.
they're gone. They're all gone.
I don't need those.
All right, great. We're done.
Don't you know how to put those back? We both spent like 2 full days doing Capture One, 3 days doing Capture One.
Class.
Went to a 3-day class on Capture One. I have no idea what the
We're
toolbar
like,
was.
isn't that cool? You do all that stuff. You remember any of it? No.
No, I totally forgot it. Oh man, you got to go a couple times, I guess. There's like a,
Their YouTube channel's amazing.
yeah, they do have a lot of stuff. Workspace. You go here to Workspace. Default. And that, there you go.
Oh, look at
I was gonna say that does nothing. Yeah, luckily I've not got beyond using the default workspace, so it comes right back for me. All right, so the green doesn't do anything. Let's try a different color. Let's try the orange. I mean, we gotta get something. This is not. You can't send this for Christmas.
I think I need a denser gel.
All right, well, I'm
Straight.
yeah. Let's do it. You're doing a good job. You just have to kind of twist yourself more, because I know you want to be in the shot. You're an attractive man, but your elbow is not flying. I'm ready.
Get up.
All right, here we go.
Do you think this is an onset video?
Oh, there it is. Now I bet it actually works. I did that.
Are you tethered in, buddy?
No, nobody tethers anymore. Really? That didn't tether? That was perfect.
Are you not tethered, man?
Oh.
Oh, you're not connected, kid. That was probably my fault more than anyone. It's only like your last shot of last year.
It's not like I took 7
wait,
years building this up. Ready?
There we go.
All right, here we go. Beauteous. Oh, wow.
Hold a prism to the lens.
Your gel's a tiny bit in, Seth. Right there. Oh. There we go.
Oh.
That's it. See, it took a little bit, right? We were like, use this orange gel, and it was terrible. And then we were like, oh, you know what? We can make it work. It's not terrible. Oh, that's cool, too.
Oh, that's crazy.
Little catch light action.
Yay, Nikon.
Yeah. It's so sharp.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there you go. And for all the people that were going to ask about the catch light, I don't know. I'm waiting now for the comment. How will you retouch out that catch light? I won't. It looks good. I mean, this is what we're going for. Whether or not this is something that we'll ever actually use, who knows? You know, but Marissa will use it because she likes things like this. It's Instagram candy. All right, questions, thoughts.
So say you didn't have an
Uh-oh.
assistant, would you be able to just tape that on there?
If I did not have an assistant, I would cry. No, what I would do is I would take a small dowel.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't be able to tape it. So the question is, if I didn't have an assistant, could I just tape it? You can't tape it to the grid because if you do, you won't project. It'll just kind of wrap around it. So I would take a dowel and tape them to the dowel and then suspend the dowel.
You can also get a gel hold, like a frame.
They also make gel holder frames, so you
Go
can.
right into a stand.
Okay.
You could also use a gel holder
So
frame.
when
That
you
also works.
diffused it, that's okay to tape it, but not the gel.
Right, because what the diffusion is meant to do is when it hits it, it spreads out, right? If you put the gel there, it hits it, it spreads out, then it desaturates the gel. So you want the gel to have maximum saturation, so that's why we did it that way. You know, if you had a full-size gel and you were doing the whole thing, then you could put the gel right against it. But in this case, we couldn't do that because we're projecting.
The gel becomes a texture. Do you get that?
Yeah, the gel becomes a texture. That's a good way of saying it. And I like too that like it wasn't quite. We had this white light coming through the center to give us that neutrality.
There's this little bit of hope. Yet she's near you.
Yeah. And see, what's interesting too is that whenever you're doing things, just like I was saying before about highlight shadow, if you're throwing a lot of color on something, it's often a good idea to have some neutral in there to kind of break it up. Because if it's all color, it starts to look muddy, which I think we were getting some of that in some of the other shots, like that one.
Yeah, you need like an anchor. You need an anchor point.
Right, you need that anchor point. I like that. I'm stealing that. Seth did not say that. I'm taking this.
Your whole 2019 demos were my 2018 demos, so 2020 is going to be.
Sure. Like I wasn't doing this 5 years before you. Okay. All right, guys. Any other questions? I think we're pretty good. I think it was a short one. No, it's about average.
Short one.
About average. I think they always feel short to me. This is the last one of the year. Thank you again for coming, guys. Thanks for watching online. I don't know if there's any more demos in general in Adorama before the rest of the year. This might have been the last demo, but if not, check out adorama.com/events for any events they might have. I do know the second week in January I will be back.
We're going to start changing.
But we're going to start changing the format slightly, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure that you're following me, Daniel Norton photographer. Follow Marissa.Roper. Marissa.Roper, 1S.
Leave off the
Seth is last ex-witness. What else is going on? Anything exciting? All kinds of good stuff. Hanukkah's next week. Enjoy. And we'll see you. Thanks, guys.